topic, I'm going to talk to you about what you need to know about your users. Let me give you an architecture analogy. Imagine you were designing a dwelling or a house for a family of 4 with a pet. You might want to know how old the kids are. Do they sleep in separate bedrooms or do they sleep together? Where does the pet sleep, outside or inside? Do the parents or do the kids actually bring friends over, or do they entertain a lot? Now that house will look very different compared to a house for your client as the architect if there were a couple in their mid-30s with no kids or pets and they wanted to live closer to the city. That property potentially looks like an apartment, whereas the first house potentially looks like a house. So the types of information you might want to know include gender. Are they male or female? What work do they do? Potentially what sort of income they have? What sort of experiences do they have using the product or service? And the tasks that they perform and the frequency that they perform them. Now this isn't a definitive list and it's not in any particular order, but it gives you some idea of the types of information you need to know to be able to help define the needs of that user. Another really important information you need to know about your users is their access requirements. You can't assume they can always hear or they can always play a video or if they've got fast internet access. Some people have a disability. It could be permanent, it could be temporary. It could be cognitive, it could be physical. In order for your website to be truly useful, you should try and access as many users as possible. So we've talked about the sorts of information you want to know about your users, but obviously you want to know where you can get that information. So what are the sources of information that will be able to give you some insight who your users are? Well, there might be some market research. There might be a report that another organisation has done explaining who the target audience is for the website. You might actually want to do some site visits, perhaps go and visit your users in their context using the website or the product or the service that you're trying to design or redesign. You might want to talk to your users, or you might want to actually engage in stakeholder conversations one-on-one to try and get a better understanding of who they think their users are, or if you're talking to your users directly, obviously get some insights about them and their behaviours. You might want to look at some data. It might be market segmentation, it might be website analytics. Basically, these sorts of information give you an idea of the volumes of users, I guess their patterns of use, and how often do they go and visit the website and the tasks that they perform. You might want to actually engage in some focus groups, get some users in a room to discuss the product or a service and get a better understanding of their likes and dislikes. And finally, talking to, I guess, customer support staff or people at the coalface. They're the ones who are talking to the customers, potentially angry customers, and they can give you some really good insights as to the type of users they are, their behaviours, the tasks that they perform, I guess, and where they're having issues. So in this topic, I've given you a better understanding of the sources of information and the types of information you need to gather about your users. In the next topic, I'm going to talk to you about how you actually access your users.